Hello, and welcome to What Do I Do If I Have Extra Time? No matter how well a teacher plans out the day for you, there are going to be times when you have to quickly and creatively fill up a 5 to 10 minute gap. And these extra time activities can often be referred to as sponge activities because they're meant to soak up those in between minutes with motivating, maybe challenging, and fun things to engage and stretch the students. As you gain experience in substitute teaching, you'll learn of and develop lots of sponge activities on your own. Until then, I want to share a few ideas for those of you subbing at the elementary level to stick in your back pocket for when, not if, these moments arise. You're welcome to download this slide deck to keep it as a reference. Just pause and jot down this link bit.ly/capital NKCES, lowercase time, and then uppercase ELEM and the number one. That's going to take you directly to these slides, and there's lots of useful links throughout. Okay, the first idea I have for you that makes a great 5 to 10 minute filler is a classic game of I Spy. This is a good one because it's so versatile and can easily be integrated into academics if you're aware of what the students are currently learning or have learned already. This is one that requires no prep. So you'd start this activity by locating something in the room without letting your students know what you've got an eye on. Then start describing the object to your students. For example, if you're working with primary students, that's kindergarten through second grade, you might begin by saying, I spy with my little eye. If you're working with intermediate grade students, that's fourth and fifth graders, they might think that's a little babyish and you might just want to begin with, I spy. And it could be something very simple, like I spy something red, or I spy something that starts with the letter G. Your students can guess what it is, and the student that guesses correctly can start the next round. I would also suggest integrating this with their academics if possible. For example, I spy a word on the word wall with 3 letters. I always like to give an additional clue if the first student guesses incorrectly. So my second clue might be I spy a word on the word wall with 3 letters that begins with a digraph. Or integrate it into some math. I spy with my little eye something we use for recess in the shape of a sphere. Or for older students, integrated it with a riddle. For example, I spy something with hands but no arms. Flashlight words is a one students might get excited about. This one does require you to be prepared with a small flashlight. So that's an item you might want to start keeping in your substitute teacher bag. The picture here is from Primary Possibilities to illustrate what this might look like. And the picture's also linked to her blog post with more sight word ideas. So, most elementary classrooms have a word wall of some sort where students keep track of the sight words that they've learned. When you have a few extra minutes, grab your flashlight, turn out the lights in the classroom, and have the students repeat the following chant with you. Flashlight, flashlight, oh so bright, shine on the word like with all your light. Then choose a volunteer to find that star word on the wall with the flashlight. But flashlight words don't have to be limited to sight words. So this activity could be adapted for use with vocabulary, science, social studies, math terms. If a teacher has a math area with maybe symbols displayed, you could certainly change your rhyme to flashlight, flashlight, oh so bright, shine on the symbol that represents division with all your light. Now, upper elementary students may not enjoy the rhyme as much, so you could certainly just shout out the word or shout out the definition. And this could also be integrated with your game of I Spy for older students, where you give them clues to the word that you're thinking and then they shine the flashlight on it. Some recommendations with this one. I recommend modeling this first yourself with the flashlight before handing it over to the students. So show them what it should look like by modeling that for them. Also, be sure to discuss the proper use of the flashlight before you begin. Make sure they know that it shouldn't be shined in other students' eyes or your own eyes, etc. A third idea to keep up your sleeve is the use of videos. So, short video clips are a great way to get students thinking deeply and spur conversation. Now, you can't just show any video in an elementary classroom, however. So, here are two safe choices that you might want to start exploring. The first, which is linked on your slide deck, is TED Ed. So, let's check that one out. So I want you to notice that I've linked you directly to the Discover tab of the TED Ed website. And this is linking us to videos that we can show in the classroom to spark curiosity and spur discussion. I want to bring to your attention that we can filter all of these videos first by subject. So if you're interested in a certain subject, you know you're going to be using something in math or needing something in social studies, you can certainly do that. What is probably more relevant to you as a sub is to filter by the student level. So click the arrow on the right-hand side, and you can filter by elementary or primary videos. So you know they're safe for that audience. So all kinds of just interesting videos that give an opportunity to kind of spark some curiosity, have some fun. Master of Regeneration. There's also book read alouds. Home Sweet Habitat. Meat eating plants. Smartest thing in fur pants. A video about homophones. Can ketchup clean a penny? Let me give you an example of what some of these videos might look like.
Everybody, Squeaks and I were just out for a walk, and Squeaks found a bunch of lucky pennies for his lucky penny collection. He's pretty excited. Oh yeah, Squeaks, some of the pennies are new and shiny, but some of them are kind of grimy and dull. I wonder if there's a way that we can clean them up before we add them to your collection. I think this calls for an experiment. Okay.
I also want to point out that over to the side, there's opportunities to learn more. There's discussion questions that you can click on to give you ideas of questions that you could ask following the video to spur discussion. The second link here, it's linked on your downloaded slides, is Soul Pancake's Kid President playlist. We're probably all familiar with Kid President, so let's check that one out. So this playlist features 121 videos at the time of this recording from Kid President. And from what I can gather, if we scroll all the way down, it kind of starts with his videos from when he was younger. So this might be where you want to start if you're teaching primary grades that day, kindergarten, first, second grade. They enjoy seeing younger kids like themselves doing videos like this. As you scroll up, you can kind of see Kid President get a little older. You might want to choose those videos if you're teaching older students so they can relate. Older students might also like the videos where he's interviewing celebrities that they might recognize. So let's take a look at one of these Kid President videos that might work as a sponge activity when you're substitute teaching.
The world needs to stop being boring. Yeah, you. Boring is easy. Everybody can be boring, but you're gooder than that. Life is not a game, people. Life isn't a cereal either. Well, it is a cereal. And if life is a game, aren't we all on the same team? I mean, really, right? I'm on your team, be on my team. This is life, people. You got air coming through your nose. You got heartbeat. That means it's time to do something.
And the kid president videos they're meant to be inspiring, they're meant to make us laugh. Now, there are a few musts when it comes to using videos as your sponge activity. So, number one, never show a video that you haven't already watched yourself in its entirety. You should have previewed the video first, making sure that every single ounce of it is appropriate for your audience. And number two, watch out for those previews or those ads beforehand. The links that I've shared with you won't have much of that. Some of the president videos do, though. Oftentimes, the ads that play prior to a video don't match up with what I'll call the rating or the content of the upcoming video. So, some of the ads might not always be appropriate. So, let that preview or that ad play, press pause, then display it for your students. And also, this is one that I would have prepared in advance. Open up the video you would like to have on deck before the students arrive that day, or maybe while they're at lunch or while they're at recess, and have it minimized at the bottom of the screen. This way, when that 10-minute gap in time arrives, you can simply hit play without fumbling to find the video. Okay, Action Cube is a way to fill those extra minutes and get the students moving, which is a great way to re energize and keep students engaged. So here's how this one works. First, you'll need to prepare an action cube in advance. And I've linked one here from A to Z teacher stuff that you can print, cut out, and create yourself. You would prepare each side of the cube with an action. For example, one side might say jumping jacks, another side might say star jumps, another one could say toe touches. Then, when you're ready to fill a few minutes, you roll your action cube and see what action you land on. Then you would roll a number cube or a dice. Small dice work just fine, but if you'd like to invest $5 or so, you can get those large foam dice pretty cheap on Amazon. And I've linked an example here on the dice. And then everyone will do that action that many times. So if you landed on jumping jacks with the action cube and 6 with the dice, everyone would do 6 jumping jacks. I would recommend allowing students to take turns rolling the cubes. So, with this activity, once you've got the materials and they're stored in your substitute teacher bag, there's no more prep after that to do in order to engage in this activity once it's needed in the classroom. And of course, don't forget the power of reading aloud to students. Now, you can certainly make sure to have a few of your favorite read alouds in your bag to whip out when you have that extra time. But when it comes to those short few minutes that can't be left idle, I recommend poetry. So, shown here are just a few of my favorite poetry anthologies for elementary level students. First, we've got the Book of Animal Poetry, that's from National Geographic. We've got the classic Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein, which can just be fun and make us laugh. Same with Jack Prelutsky's It's Raining Pigs and Noodles. They're just funny and meant to engage laughter. Then we've got Lunch Money and other poems about school. And probably more for intermediate level students, fourth and fifth grade, we've got an introduction to Emily Dickinson with this poetry anthology. Poetry can be read aloud simply for the enjoyment of it, or you can make it interactive. For example, you can read a poem and have students predict the last line of each stanza based on the rhyme pattern. One of the poems in the Book of Animal Poetry goes like this: Turtles sit, turtles wait, turtles never think they're. You could pause there and wait for students and see if they can come up with that next rhyme. Turtles never think they're late. Turtles crawl, turtles snap, turtles take a long, long pause and wait for the students to try to come up with that rhyme with the word nap. Turtles listen, turtles hide, turtles like to stay inside. Another example of making it interactive is I could tell students that I'm going to read aloud a poem called Decisions from Lunch Money. When I say a food they like, they're going to put their thumbs up. And when I say a food they don't care for, they're going to put their thumb down. For this one, I would make sure to reiterate that everyone has different tastes and enjoys different things, and that that's a good thing. Menu, menu under the magnet. Buy my lunch at school or bag it. Tacos, nachos, pizza with cheese, burger and french fries, school lunch, please. Beef stew, baked beans, cabbage crunch, mushroom chicken casserole. I think I'll bring my lunch. So you can see how, as throughout, students would be engaged as they put their thumbs up or thumbs down as they heard different kinds of foods. And many poems like this one could also be used to just spark discussion afterwards. This final idea I want to share with you is only for those who are up for a little something more challenging and more techy. So, Quiver is a way to bring students' coloring pages to life in essentially these 3 steps. You print out one of their coloring pages, one of Quiver's coloring pages. You allow students time to color. Then you scan their page with your cell phone using the Quiver app, and their coloring pages come to life in 3D. So let me show you what that looks like. So here we are at Quiver's website. I'm going to come up here on the right-hand side to coloring packs. Over here on the side, we've got Quiver, education, fashion, masks. You can head to any of these. I want to point out right away that some of them do require you to pay for them, but there's plenty that are free, and I would shoot for the free options. I'm going to click on the education tab over here on the left and show you an example. So much fun. So, this is an activity that I imagine could take up several of your 5-minute time needs. Once in the morning, you might have a few minutes, and that's when you could distribute the pages and allow some coloring time. You might ask them to then put up their coloring pages and give them some more time later. At the end of the day or during another sponge activity opportunity, you could circulate around the class and scan their photos and allow them to see their work in 3D. I also recommend printing out several different options of coloring pages so students have a choice in which page they'd like to color. So, hopefully, some of these ideas are going to help get you started in having some backup for those extra moments when they arise. Now, if you're interested in exploring more ideas, I've linked a few places that you can continue to explore. Educational Sponge Activities is from USCD. The Sponge Ideas for Elementary Students is a list from Scholastic. And then the last one, Brain Teasers, is from Super Teacher Worksheets. And that's a wrap on what do I do if I have extra time for elementary level substitute teachers. These times will happen, and it's best to have activities like this prepared and ready to go in your substitute teacher bag of tricks. If you've downloaded these slides, go ahead and click on the link here at the bottom of your slide deck. If you haven't, then just simply jot this down, bit.ly/capital NKCES, lowercase time, and then uppercase ELEM and the number 2, and type it in your browser. This is going to take you to a self-assessment to check your understanding of this session. A certificate of completion will be emailed to you when you get 80% of the questions correct. Thank you so much for even considering the role of a substitute teacher. Your time and energy is so valued in this role.